Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showing you around Ancestry.com's database that we have access to answer the main question of our unit of, who do you think you are? Now first things first, I want you to make sure that you have your family tree completed with as much information as you can find, including the information that you found after completing your familial interview. Remember that on your family tree, box number 1 is information about yourself, 2 and 3 would be information about your parents, 4 through 7, your grandparents, and then 8 through 15, your great grandparents. Now, to show you around Ancestry's database, I'm going to focus on my grandfather on my father's side, whose name is Benjamin Lehman. Here, I've created the family tree where you can see all of his information that I will be plugging into Ancestry's database in order to search more information about him. The Ancestry database that we have access to is called ancestryclassroom.com. Using a school computer only, you can gain access to these archives, and you can't look at any other family trees that are saved on Ancestry because you don't have a paying account. That I'll talk more about later. Once you click the link, it brings you here to Ancestry Classroom's main page. We are going to be using this box to search for the majority of our records. So first you need their name. I know my grandfather's first name was Benjamin, and usually a middle initial will be helpful, but if you know their full middle name, that'll give you more reason to search. So I know his middle name was Robert, and his last name is obviously Lehman. Now here in this box where it says place your ancestor might have lived, you can either try information if you know the city they were born, or the county, or even just the state. So for example, I know that my grandfather lived the majority of his life in Polk County, Iowa. So if I type Polk County, I can click that here. And I know that my grandfather was born in the year 1918. However, some of these records are handwritten, which means that sometimes some things can get mixed up. And so I'm going to search plus or minus 2 years, which means that when I search, it'll be searching records from 1916 all the way up to 1920. Once you've entered in your information, click search and it'll populate your results. Here you can see my results up at the top. I have nearly 6,000 results with that small search that I've done. That search is up here in the upper left-hand corner where I can edit the search as needed. Below that, where it says categories, these are all the different types of searches that Ancestry allows you to search. So for example, census and voter lists and birth and marriage and death records are the two that I like to search the most because they give you a majority of amount of information in one quick search. Here's where I'm talking about family trees. You can search other people's family trees if you have a paying account of Ancestry. However, because we are not paying for this, it's given to us through the Ancestry Classroom download, you won't be able to look into specific people's family trees that have been created before you. Now, a minute ago, I told you that census and voter lists are one of the best ways to look at information on family members. Knowing that my grandfather was born in 1918, I'm going to look at the 1930 U.S. federal census. Open this page, you can see all of the information that's on this census record, but it's typed out for you. I like to look at the actual record itself because you can see a lot of information in one quick shot. Up in the upper left-hand corner, I'm going to click View, and it will open me up to a PDF scanned version of the actual document that the census records took. If I scroll up to the top, you see here line 51, and then everything highlighted in yellow is information about my grandfather. Here you can see his name is Benjamin, and then all of these different columns along the top talk about different information about this record. For example, census records will show you the relation to the head of household. Here you can see my grandfather is the son to the head of household. It'll also tell you the age that the person was at the time of the census. Here, my grandfather was 11 when the census was taken in 1930. Finally, one of the key pieces of information are these three columns right here where it talks about place of birth. Here, it tells you that my grandfather was born in Iowa. His father was also born in Iowa. However, his mother was born in England. If I click this arrow right here, it'll show me the rest of my grandfather's family because census are taken by the household. So by looking at the previous page, all of this information highlighted in green are showing family members that my grandfather lived with. For example, the head of household would be his father Joseph, followed by his mother Mary, and all of his siblings. If you continue looking to the right, you can see all of this information is shared amongst people in his family. If you like a record, you can click up here to the Save button. That will open up this port for you to save this record to your computer. Basically, what that allows you to do is to save that record on your computer's hard drive so you can use it and look at it later. This would be the type of thing that you want to save in order to show family members what you have found. Now, if I go back to my search results, I can look at other records that have been found. As you scroll down, you continuously want to be checking this information here to make sure that it continues to match the information that you're searching. So we just looked at the 1930s federal census. Let's look at the 1920 federal census, which is located right here. Again, double checking the information off to the side to make sure it's the same person. All of this information seems to match, except that his name Benjamin is missing. If I wanted to click on that record, I can double check the information located there, such as the information printed, as well as his family members, siblings, and parents, to double check to see if that record is technically correct. So you can see here all of his siblings' names and parents' names are the same, but now his name is Robert Lehman. What I gather from this is that prior to 1930 and after 1920, the two census records that we've seen, my father dropped his name of Robert and went only by Benjamin, his middle name. Because the U.S. Social Security Administration was not created until 1935, there was no official record of this name change. However, if I were to continue researching my grandfather's history and find out his war records are all named under Benjamin, this is what proves this. I've also found his birth certificate using Ancestry.com that shows that he was in fact born Robert Benjamin Lehman, and somehow between the ages of 1 and 12 decided to change his name. This is information that I found on Ancestry that none of my family members knew about, including my father. Obviously, Ancestry can give you a ton of information that can lead us to find out incredible family history with just a few simple clicks. Now that you understand a little bit about the database and how to search, play around with it a little bit until tomorrow when we really dive into your own family history. Enjoy.